Yeah, so, what makes you, let's say, sexy for an entrepreneur with a company? So, let's say I'm 65 years old. I have like a good company. It's been going on for years. You come to me. You tell me it would be essentially interesting to take over and be involved in the management afterwards of the company. So, what makes you sexier than, let's say, one of your previous employer, like more traditional private equity investor who would essentially come in and maybe compete with you? So that's my first question. And second question is about process. So I imagine, well, it's better when you have like a primary access to a founder and to a management team and to shareholders, etc. But if again I'm a business owner, you come to me, I'll probably realize, maybe I could kickstart some form of a process. So you are a prime contact, obviously, if you were the first one to approach me. But to try to maximize my value, I'll probably try to organize some form of small process where I'll probably try to include traditional private equity investors. And as you said, I mean, because there is so much dry powder, in the end, you start competing with not the entire world, but a larger group of potential investors.
So I would start with the second question, if that's all right,
Yeah.
because it would
Mm.
lead into the first one. So essentially, if you are a business owner, you have two key buyers or two sort of buyer profiles that come to mind. Either you sell to a strategic or you sell to a private equity fund.
Hmm.
In the end, the M&A market and everything related to business, in my opinion, is fundamentally driven by emotions. So, I think in the B2B market, 50% of buying decisions are made through emotions. And in the consumer markets, that number is even higher. It's 95%. And why would that be different within the M&A market? So essentially what what differs us to those other two groups of buyers is that we pitch ourselves. We are essentially the product in some sense. Rationally thinking, you know, we have never run a business before and we probably don't have any sector experience or network within the sector that the actual target will be operating in. But what we promise is that we will continue the business. We will preserve the culture. We will build upon the culture. We will support the employees. We will maintain customer relationships. And we are actually, and that's where the strong alignment of interest comes from. We are putting in time and essentially risking to some extent our career
Hmm.
to actually run that business. And that's very different to the private equity proposition, which is, building up a portfolio, investing in multiple businesses, and then placing in interim managers or other external experts into the business. So that value proposition is very, very different. And we are 3 months into our search, and what we've actually seen is we've talked to a lot of business owners that told us we will not be selling to private equity because we don't know who will be running the business and because
Hmm.
everything will be focused on an exit. And the point on, actually engaging with M&A advisors and engaging in a process to increase the price, that is definitely a risk.
Hmm.
But at the same time, those businesses that we look at, they are not the most sophisticated. They all those companies that generate between 1 and 3 or 4 million EBITDA. Some of them might be very professionalized, some of them less, but most of the time, the founders or the shareholder has been in the business his entire life. So he has never sold a business before. The first
Hmm.
point of contact for them is actually the tax advisor. So they would go to the tax advisor and tell them, hey, I'm considering selling the business. Do you know any potential buyer? And that's the point where we come in. We come in with that value proposition, and that's in some cases so appealing to the seller that he would not enter a process because it's very disruptive for him. What he cares about is that in the village or in the city where the company is based, he wants to make sure that those employees still have a job and that he can go to the bakery after selling the business without anyone pointing fingers at him.
Mhm.
and he doesn't want any rumors around that, which could happen if you enter an M&A process. It doesn't have to be, but it could happen. So sometimes it's just partly an emotional decision, and sometimes it's from a risk perspective that you don't want any rumors around yourself selling your business to someone external.